So it's me, and I haven't done a live in a while, so I just wanted to get back on the train here and do a new episode of Father Mahoney's House of Horrors. Now, today's topic is the 1996 horror movie Scream. Now, before I talk a little bit about Scream, when I heard about this, movie, and I saw like the trailer, and I was very intrigued. I was like, oh, this is cool. Maybe something fresh. And what we really got was a fresh movie, but a tribute to slasher films. Um, First, I want to start with Randy. I really loved Randy's character. I thought Randy was like our little reminder, like our generation, of how cool slasher movies were. Like Randy knew everything. There was so many names popped out, and Randy also gave us the most important thing in this horror movie is the rules to survive a horror film. I thought the it was catchy. I thought his character was well acted, and meanwhile, like while he's doing all these rules, there's a real horror movie around it. We get introduced to Ghostface on the phone talking to the one and only Drew Barrymore, which was a cool thing to see because Drew Barrymore, her roots go all the way back to Firestarter. So it's cool to see her back in a horror movie, because she was on a roll during the 90s. And, Wes Craven must have really convinced her to do this because I didn't think she'd ever do a horror movie again. But it was a cool little intro, and we get introduced to the famous phrase now, what's your favorite scary movie? And the play on like trivia was great, like especially when he goes, who was the killer of Friday the 13th? And most people who are not super well versed will always go to Jason. It's common. I see reaction channels now do like, oh, I thought there was a guy in a hockey mask, but he asked who was the killer in the in Friday the 13th. He didn't say like part two, part three, part four, whatever. And of course, it was Mrs. Loomis, which is great. I mean, I thought this movie started with a bang, and it never took its feet off the gas. Um, so of course, she got that wrong, and her boyfriend. By the way, there's spoilers, but you should have seen this by now. That this movie is now 30 years old. So what are you doing with your life? Her boyfriend Steve gets it, and the killer gives us one more question, and it's just basically say her like, "What door am I at?" And she, of course, doesn't want to play this, but this whole opening sequence is fire, and it kind of became a little staple for like a bunch of the movies to follow. The opening scene kind of leads you right into that next story. So, um, like part two. Part two is another great opening sequence. Um, and if you're watching this now, obviously there's now seven Scream movies. The seventh one just came out, so I may do a part two, part three, et cetera, on after this. But then we get the character Sydney, and Sydney's a very interesting character because she's already had some trauma in life, and um, her her story is well versed out there. Like especially when they mention after they're interviewing people who knew um, the people who were, I can't remember their names in the beginning part. Tell anyone who remember their name, just let me know. The two who died in the beginning. Anyways, so when they're talking about Sidney Prescott and how her mom was the big story of last year, and when we introduce all the other characters like Billy Loomis and Stu, it becomes a movie of who done it. And I like that because, in past slasher films, after one or two murders, we already know who it is. Like in this one, uh, Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson create a great atmosphere of like a whodunit type movie. And every time you think you know who it is, it's not them, or they die, and I, 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 I like how this movie is very well paced. We get introduced to Gale Weathers, and Gale has an interesting past with Sydney because Gale Weathers is a reporter who reported did the story on Sydney's mom getting killed, and so when they have their first interaction, it's a great little interaction because, spoiler alert, Sydney knocks the fuck out of her, and because she just didn't like how uh, Gail made. Gail had doubts about who killed the mother, and so there was a little heat there, obviously, and um, now, like I said, because it's almost like a horror thriller comedy because there's a lot of great scenes where you think that something's coming up and it doesn't happen, and then it happens when you least expect it, and then the characters, like especially Randy, uh, are making light of basically. If they watch Prom Night, they would know like the simple formula. Everyone's a suspect. I like that because they threw that in because technically, from our eyes, everyone in Scream is a suspect. You can't trust anybody. And when when the attacker finds Sydney staying with her best friend, you know, uh, and calls, they end up, eventually they ended up pinning this all on Billy Loomis, and because he has the phone and everything, and this is just after she got a call, and so it's this movie keeps you guessing the whole. I think this movie is like an hour and 35-hour, 40-minute movie, and it keeps you guessing all the way till the end. And I'm not going to go through this whole movie because I'm going to try to leave it to you guys to tell me what you thought of Scream, because Scream was like a revitalization of horror. Because face it, guys, back in the mid '90s, like '94, '95, there was still some good content coming out there, but horror was dying. It needed a kick in the butt, and who else better to kick it in the butt than the guy who kicked it in the butt in '84, Wes Craven. When Wes Craven brought us Freddy Krueger, we hadn't ever seen shit like that. And so when Wes Craven had a chance to do it again, he gave us Scream. So kudos to Mr. Wes Craven, R.I.P. But like I said, if you guys want to do a small reaction on Scream 2, let me know because I wouldn't mind doing that. Um, what else can I say about this movie? Oh, like I said, the big reveal is fantastic because you start thinking it's Randy because Randy is so fixated on Sydney, and then obviously you think it's Stu, and then she goes like fuck you both and closes the door, and then she sees Billy because Billy has been stabbed already, and so she thought Billy was a victim. Billy was the the killer. Yeah, and he uses um, what's the phrase that he used? Oh, I should have done my homework better, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, it was a Psycho quote. I remember that. No, I'm not. It tells me to add a cute question and answer period with the Gilmore Girls. I know nothing about the Gilmore Girls. Obviously, I don't know much about Stream either because I'm blanking out everywhere. Don't get old, guys. But yeah, so it was just basically ketchup, and Billy played it off well. And then, of course, Randy gets in, and he thinks obviously it's Stu. Stu's gone crazy, and oh, the quote was, "We all go a little mad sometimes," and that's when he takes out the gun and shoots Randy. And then she's trying to get away from Billy, runs into Stu, and then Stu takes out the like the machine that alters your voice, like surprise, Sydney. And so we end up getting the reveal as a double killer. Now this is a great little like twist too, because most slasher movies are just one person. So we get to see this big reveal where you think almost like Billy's gonna shoot Stu, and then Stu takes out the little voice changer, and you find out that Stu and Billy are in it together, and you also find out why, because uh, Billy's mom left them because he had an affair with Sydney's father. So yeah, so this was the little plot, and the motive, as she said. She wants a motive, and I love the ending sequence with yeah, Dewey was trying to help, and it's, I don't want to give away. Just obviously, there might be a few people out there that haven't seen this, and if you haven't, like I'm gonna say again, where the fuck have you been? But yeah, so we get the happy ending, and of course, Randy reminds us of another rule where, like, just when you think the killer's dead, he comes back to life, you know, and then Sydney shoots him, and it's a fun movie. That's what I will say about this. It's not so much super scary. It's just super fun. It's a great popcorn movie. It's for someone that maybe um, hasn't seen this. I want you to disregard everything I said. Sorry, but just kind of go in with this open mind, because I left a lot for you guys to watch. I gave you a lot that may interest you and that may turn your heads into that. And then maybe you'll become like a horror fan, because you might not get some of the references, like prom night and the Halloween scene with Jamie Lee Curtis. She never showed her tits till she went legit, as Randy said. So, and like when and for those guys who love the horror movies, you'll get the rules references, like never say I'll be back, because you won't. And you can't have sex, you can't have drugs, and it's you'll get all the little references, and there's a lot more. But like I said, I'm gonna save some of those for like the ones that haven't watched this. And apparently, I gotta brush up on watching this again too. I just happened to see this. A couple of reactors just did the first Scream, and I was like, maybe I'll tackle Scream, but maybe I should have watched it again before I did this. But you get the gist of it. Wes Craven did it again. I think Ghostface is a very intriguing bad guy, or bad guys, as we find out later. Spoiler alert. Anyways, so guys, tell me what you think. Yes, and I know you're gonna bust on me for blanking on some things. But like I said, I'm old, so I'm not using that as an excuse. But I'm old. Tell me what you think, and tell me what your favorite Scream sequel is. So that's another episode of Father Mahoney's House of Horrors. And I'm hopefully going to start doing this up a little bit again, and I will do my homework better next time. Promise. Scout's honor. Much love, guys. And if you're not scared, you're weird. I forgot how to shut this off. Hi. I'm still here.